I wanted to kick us off by just sharing some voices for you to hear from some of our parents who are currently in the two-way dual language program. So I have a little video to share.
I currently have a child in the dual language program, and I think that bilingualism is extremely beneficial. My child has grown immensely since starting this about 6 months ago, and I think that the best thing about learning another language is that it's something that you can take with you throughout life.
I just want to say that I'm really glad that my son is in the dual language program. Um, I think it's really helping him with speaking, period. And I'm so amazed that he's only been in the program for about 6 months and he's speaking Spanish and English. And I'm just really amazed, and I think it's making him more intelligent, and it's helping him with communication, just period.
Hola, soy la mamá de Zuleimi. Obviamente me encantaría que aprendiera bien el idioma, el inglés, porque es algo que es muy indispensable en este país y me encantaría que aprendiera bien, y sé que lo va a lograr.
Buenas tardes, soy Nora, mamá de Jimena. A Jimena la estoy viendo crecer en el aspecto que es más sociable, se siente más segura de sí misma. De repente llega y me hace pequeñas conversaciones en inglés. Ya le llama la atención ver películas en inglés. En casa siempre hablamos español, entonces he visto un gran crecimiento en ella con este programa dual.
Hola, me llamo Pierce. Tengo 5 años. Adiós.
Hola, we're Pierce McClellan's parents, and I guess the biggest thing we saw about Pierce's growth was just her language overall increased, both in English and Spanish. She became more aware of just sight words, her reading increased. Just the mere fact that a 5-year-old can read in both languages, I mean, that's amazing, and it's also huge.
What I really love most about her being in dual language is the fact that she's getting the opportunity to use a part of her brain that most kids her age don't get to use at this age. So just knowing that she's learning 2 different languages at the same time, or learning to read in 2 different languages at the same time, I think is amazing.
What I saw my son develop more and more of over this school year, and what I think the most important thing he took out of the dual language program is curiosity. Every day he would come home and ask me what this was in Spanish and what this was, anything and everything he could think of, even going as far as to ask Alexa, what is this in Spanish? And even though he doesn't live in a Spanish-speaking household, he was still curious to know. And I think it's that kind of curiosity, especially the curiosity of other languages and cultures and ways of life, that are so important to children.
Okay, so that's a little bit about our families and students who've been participating in our two-way dual language program. Just kind of wanted you to hear from their voices. And now we're going to talk a little bit about how dual language education can open doors for your children. So the outcomes of today's presentation are, first and foremost, to discover what the benefits are, know specifically what the goals of our RISD dual language programs offer, and understand the enrollment and application process. And last but not least, really learn how you as a family can help to support your child's bilingual journey. So the first question we're going to start off by answering is, what is a dual language education? First and foremost, it is definitely a research-based program, and it's designed to offer all the students who participate the opportunity to become bilingual, meaning they can listen and speak in 2 languages, and also biliterate. So developing that biliteracy. And when we talk about that, we're talking about being able to read and write in the 2 languages. So students have that opportunity to have that full spectrum of using both languages. In our program, students are learning in both languages, English and Spanish, and we offer 2 different types of programs. We offer one program that is known as one-way dual language, and the second program is two-way dual language. And the goals are the same for both of the programs. The only difference and the reason why it's named one-way or two-way is the student populations who participate. So in a one-way dual language program, we have Spanish speakers only, students who qualify through eligibility criteria. And in a two-way dual language, we have 2 groups. We have Spanish speakers and English speakers, and they are learning together. So here's another little visual of you can see the breakdown between the 2 different groups. You'll also see kind of how it works. In a one-way dual language program, the instruction is again in both languages, and the goal is to develop biliteracy. Most of the students, who enter, are all Spanish speaking. They have that in their background, and they are taking what they know in that language and adding the English and then developing both. In a two-way program, we've got 2 student groups coming in. Instruction is still in 2 languages, and it's bilingualism for all. So they're coming in from 2 sides, depending on what their native language is, and adding the second language, but both of them are receiving the instruction in both languages. So why should you choose dual language for your children? Here are some of the many benefits that the program does provide. Students in the program do build and develop that fluency in both languages. They develop both the oral conversational type, but they also develop that high academic language. And so that's another benefit of the program, is that they do receive higher academic achievement because they develop stronger reading, writing, and cognitive skills, which is the skills that deep thinking have. The other piece is developing this cultural competence or appreciation for diverse cultures and having different perspectives. And last but not least, they also have the opportunity to develop college and career readiness, because by having 2 skills, they really are creating a competitive edge when it comes to the global economy. So access to better jobs and access to be able to work anywhere in the world. And let's see if my slide moves. Okay, here we go. Program structure. So when we're looking at what does a day in the life of a child in a dual language program look like, when we're starting in the lower grades, we really develop on developing their Spanish reading skills. And so that the Spanish foundation is set in the early grades. And so they're practicing all of their reading skills in Spanish and developing that. And then we gradually increase that. Content instruction is provided in both languages. So when we're talking about math, science, social studies, all of that is provided in both. Our model is called 80-20, meaning that 80% of their day in the lower grades is going to be Spanish, and 20% of their day will be in English. And gradually we work up towards 50% of the day being in Spanish and 50% of the day being in English, starting at 3rd grade and up. In the lower grades, where we're having that stronger foundation base in Spanish literacy, we also have what's called English language development time. So in pre-K through 2nd grade, they do get time to develop those foundational skills that they need for literacy in the English language. So that's where kind of they're getting both pieces from a very early age. Then let me move this again. Here we go. So this is kind of the big picture of what it looks like. So in pre-K, kinder, and 1st grade, you'll see the 80-20 on the side. The red indicates the amount of Spanish instruction, and the blue indicates the amount of English instruction. At second grade, it's 60% Spanish, 40% English, and you'll notice in third, fourth, and fifth grade where the 50-50 is divided up. Okay, so that's kind of like the big picture from pre-K all the way to fifth grade, what that would look like. And then this is how long we've had the program. One Way Dual Language started in the fall of 2020, so we are well versed in our One Way Dual Language rollout. You'll notice there on the red that we offer the program up to fifth grade. And then our two-way program started in the fall of 2023. And you'll see that in that year, we started just at the pre-K and kinder grade levels. And we are in the second year of that. So we are now up to first grade. You'll see the 3 grade levels. And we're going to be moving 1 grade level at a time until we get the program rolled out all the way through the elementary grades up to fifth grade. Right now, the only program we have, the two-way dual language program, is at Stoltz Road. Here are some more benefits when we talk about what does the program offer for children. One of the things that we stress is that we want as much as possible to have our students learn that second language at an early grade. We do know that it has positive effects on their intellectual ability. We know that we are really enriching and enhancing their mental development. There's a lot of research that talks about the brain and how, a bilingual brain, if they were to, put little probes on you, you see all these little lights lighting up because they're using their brain much more, which also allows students to be very flexible in their thinking. They really are sensitive to language because they start to pick up the similarities and differences between them. And it really helps them also have a deeper understanding even for their native language as well. Some of our students that participate in the program have 3 languages because they may be coming to school already with 2 and they're adding another. So that's definitely a bonus for our children. And then additional pieces, of course, is that it allows them to communicate with many others who they may not know. And as they get older, really develop that appreciation for people all over the world. It does provide that strong foundation because if they want to learn other languages as they get older, it'll make it easier for them. And of course, increases those job opportunities and careers for students. And then here is some information regarding the research that stands behind the reason we offer dual language in our district. Many of you may not be familiar with this. This is what we stand on looking at providing a strong and effective program for our students. This is coming from a study that was first done in the early 2000s, and it's been re-evaluated throughout the years. And what it does is it tells us that students who participate in dual language programs at the elementary grade level, you'll notice on the chart that it has first all the way up to fifth kind of in the elementary, and then it says middle and high. And then you see the different colors of the different types of programs offered to students. And you'll notice that the red is one-way dual language and two-way dual language. And you'll see the little dash, the little line with the dash. What that is telling us is that when children come in, especially emergent bilingual students, there's a gap in their understanding of the English language and of reading in particular. And that dual language are the only 2 programs, whether it's one-way or two-way, that closes this gap. So our children begin to be able to provide pretty much access to higher and rigorous instruction. And so the students tend to perform at or above their peers in a dual language program. And so it has that really strong predictor that our students are going to be successful And so because we want to make sure that we provide the best instruction to our students, we lean on this research, and we're also making sure that our students do the same in our district. This is just a breakdown of which schools offer the program, because that typically is a question that we get is, where do I go, right? So in each of the different learning communities, we have one-way dual language offered. You'll see there's a little asterisk on Schultz because that is our campus in the Lake Highlands Learning Community that offers our two-way dual language immersion program. At this time, that is our only campus. We do plan in the future to provide more choices to our community and our families, but at this time, Stoltz Road is the only campus that has this type of program. And here are our goals. So whether they are in the one-way dual language program or in the two-way dual language program, we do have the same goals for our students. We want them to acquire a second language while they maintain their first. We also want them all to have high academic achievement, achieving either at or above their grade level. We do want all of our students to develop those positive cross-cultural attitudes. And then the most important one is that we know that this work is not done alone. We do it in partnership with our parents, teachers, and administration. So it's a big wrap around to make sure that our students are successful. And we really do create bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural students. And then these are some of our instructional practices. So when we think about what does this look like in the classroom, we want you to really understand that this is not just a Spanish class or an English class. We really provide authentic instruction that is content-based. So they are learning about the water cycle. They are learning about the how to write complete sentences. They're learning how to add and subtract and about fractions and so forth in a certain language, and they bridge that into their second language. So we make sure that the instruction, both for literacy and for content, is provided in both. Our dual language students do follow a very unique learning path because every lesson that our students get is meant for the students to really understand and go deep. So every lesson focuses on listening, speaking, reading, and writing across the content areas with opportunities in both languages to use that. So that is very unique. That is not typically in our monolingual classrooms. The content is the same in the sense that they will learn what is grade level appropriate for them, but it is very unique because they're getting it in both languages and having that opportunity for their brain to really understand that. Language acquisition is gradual. It does typically take 5 to 7 years to reach that high academic proficiency, but we build in all of those pieces for students to be successful all along the way. So it is an enrichment. Our kids really go deep with authentic resources and opportunities to really tap into multicultural literature as well. Okay, so now the question of the night is, how do I sign up or how do I get my child enrolled into this type of program? So in order to come into the two-way dual language program, there you first start off with your online enrollment. So for the two-way dual language program, applications will appear in pre-K, kinder, and first grade. In the enrollment platform, you will be asked the question if you are interested in dual language. If you answer yes, then it will ask you additional questions and you just complete that. And that's pretty much all you have to do. Enrollment does begin tomorrow. So when everything opens, you are welcome to go in and register for that. If you are already in a program, you do not have to go through this process again. As far as applying for it, you're already automatically rolling over into that program. you will just fill it out as like you're coming back and you're returning into the program for the next school year. This would only apply to families who are brand new into the program. And if you are putting in that application for the very first time, we will have a lottery selection on May 16th, and you begin to notify families starting May 20th. And then you would either accept your seat or decline it. And there will be a wait list. So if a family declines, then there will be an opportunity for the next family to either accept the seat. There are limited seats because we are just at one campus for that. If you are applying or just enrolling into our one-way dual language program, if you are a Spanish-speaking student, you do not have to go through the lottery. You would simply, complete the home language survey that you normally do, and we would assess your student to see if they qualify and meet the criteria to enter the program. And then you would be notified if your child has met the criteria to participate in a bilingual program, and then you would approve that as well. So that would be handled that way through the campus, but you would not necessarily have to apply for the program. Okay. All right, and then how to support your child at home. So the first thing you want to do is just really encourage by letting your child know that you believe in them. You really want to create independence in them. As the students are participating in the program, they become more independent and more confident, and you'll begin to see that confidence level build in on them. But the best thing you can do at home, because we get questions all the time, is I don't speak English, so I'm not sure how to help my child, or I don't speak Spanish and I'm not sure how to help my child. Whatever language you speak, though, you help them in that language because you're developing skills, you're developing vocabulary, you're developing confidence. All of that is great to do because you are doing it in a very loving and supportive way. And you can find things at home that just make connections for them. So whether that's reinforcing math concepts while you cook or you measure at home, that's great. If you have opportunities to visit places, like you take them shopping or you take them to a museum, you can, talk to them about everything. They're building vocabulary with the fruits and vegetables, or with reading the labels on the cereal box. All of that is helping to develop that. And then just speaking and reading to your child in your native language is also very, very helpful. And then if you want to do extra things, you can go to a library or get books that your child can listen to, whether it's the audio version or the actual physical version. And it can be something that, you do together, or you have your child read to you. You can also incorporate music. There are some, CDs or music apps that you can actually put in another language if you want to, or just in your native language. You can do that as well. Same thing with video or DVD. You can also, change the language on it, or you can do it in your native language. Either one is beneficial. And then, of course, actively participating in any school events that the school has, because that also helps your child see that learning can be fun and that the whole family is encouraged by what happens at the campus as well. Okay, so here is where I'm going to stop for a minute because I cannot see the chat from my screen. And I'm going to go see if we can answer some questions, and then I can come back to the presentation. So let's look at the chat and see if there are some questions here. Oh, let's see. I see it. Let me make this.
I see that someone is asking, will you be offering the two-way program at any other elementary school?
That is the goal, not we don't have a school determined for this next coming school year, but as the district is looking at offerings with choice programs and just what we want to offer in the coming years, that is definitely on the table that we will be revisiting and looking at that. So if that would happen, it wouldn't be for the 25-26 school year. There's a high possibility for the 26-27 school year that we may have other campuses. So right now we are just at Stoltz Road, and next year we will offer pre-K through second grade at Stoltz Road. So
And
good
then
question.
just for clarification, if a student is currently in the dual language program at Stoltz, they do not have to reapply, correct?
Correct. They would do online enrollment, just letting, updating for the next school year. But they will be rolled into the the program for the coming year. So no, they won't have to do the lottery or anything like that. Correct.
So then for the 26-27 school year, if a new campus opens for the dual language program, will that be open to first graders?
Yes. We enroll new students at either pre-K, kinder, or first grade. So yes.
Love that. Okay. And so for those who are interested in trying for the lottery this year, and they're not currently in the dual language program, but they want to try for the lottery this year, then that is a part of the enrollment process, but they would have to indicate that on the enrollment, the online enrollment, and then it would take them to a section to complete.
Correct. The minute they say, it's like, are you interested in dual language? The minute they hit yes, it will drop down additional questions right then and there. They don't even have to go to a separate page. It'll pop up right there.
Got it.
Okay.
Those are all of the questions that I see, or points of clarification.
Awesome. Thank you for telling me the questions. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go back because I think we have a little bit of additional pieces to share with parents. So, oops, I need to find the share button. Okay. All right, so here is where we're going to hear from others. We'd love to get your feedback and just give you an opportunity to put some things in the chat. So we want to have, hear your voice, and you can choose any way here to just let us give us some information about how this presentation helped you, or anything that you would like to share. So we call this section our optimistic closure. And so following the different signs that are on different cards, please select any of these that you would like to participate in. So if you like hearts, share something from the heart. How did you feel about the presentation? What did this mean to you? Clubs is a different way to also select maybe things that grew. Was there anything that was maybe a new piece of information for you? New thoughts that maybe you had about something, or a new point of view? Diamonds are the gems that last forever. So what are some of the gems of wisdom that you've gathered from tonight's presentation? Something that was, kind of an aha for you. Or spades, something used to dig in the garden, right? So what are some new ideas that were planted for you? What was dug up for you during the presentation? So any one of these are ways that you can engage with us and give us some insight from you so we can hear from you. So please feel free to add anything in the chat that resonates with you in regards to any of these questions.
I do have something that a parent just put in the chat, and it says, what is your recommendation for a family going into kinder who want to be in the dual language program, but Stoltz is too far away?
Okay. So we'd have to kind of think about um, if the family would be one that could possibly meet the eligibility criteria to qualify. That's one way that they could get in. If not, then okay, they're in kindergarten, and there's a possibility that we might be able to open one. They're starting kinder, there might be a possibility for them to go into maybe a first grade if we offer it at one of the other campuses.
This is an incoming kinder. Incoming
kinder right now. Okay.
Incoming
So-
kinder, yes.
Got it. Okay. So if they are not able to get it at the campus they're at this year because Stoltz is too far for them, then the other option would be that if we have a opening for them in first grade that would be closer, then they could certainly apply at that time, but that would be in the 26-27 school year. Because at this point at our one-way campuses, we're really looking at just students who would meet the eligibility. So, we can, talk to the parent and see if they do meet eligibility. If they are if they're native Spanish speaking, there is a possibility they would qualify. If they're native English speaking, then they would have to wait until the program is at one of their campuses that would be closer, and then they could apply at that time.
Okay, so she did say that they are not native speakers.
Okay.
And then her question is, then we would have to switch schools after kinder, which I think the answer is yes. Correct.
If at that time Stoltz is still the only campus, which I don't, I think we may have more campuses that we offer it at, yes, then it would be applying to wherever the program is offered, whether that's Stoltz Road or one of our other campuses.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's all we have in the chat so far.
That is all. Okay. So we will go on to the next part. So if you are needing additional information, you can certainly, if you know that your campus has the program, you certainly would want to start there because they're your nearest contact, whether that's your principal or the bilingual team at the campus. They are kind of your first line to go to. If your campus doesn't have the program or you are unsure if they do, you certainly can reach out to me at any time. You'll have my name there, my email address, and my phone number. So you can certainly reach out that way as well. And if you have individual questions and so forth, I'm happy to walk you through what that would look like or answer your question individually. So that is definitely another way to reach us. So definitely excited that we were able to bring this to you all tonight. But this is, just the first conversation. So if you have more questions, please feel free to reach out.
Okay, so this concludes tonight's presentation on our dual language program. This information will be archived on the district's YouTube page, along with, just realized I didn't turn my video back on, is also going to be housed under Parent University. So if you go to the district's website and you look for Parent University, the video, tonight's video, will be archived there, so that if you need to go back and get some information, if you'd love to share the information with friends, that's where they will be able to find the information. We do have an exit survey for those of you who are online with us. If you would go ahead and use the URL there to, the QR code to enter the exit survey, we would appreciate it. It's very short and quick, but we would love your feedback about tonight's presentation. Clarice, I would love to thank you for presenting this information tonight. I actually learned quite a bit, just toggling back and forth between what are the differences between one-way versus two-way, the campuses. I didn't realize we had so many campuses with one-way. So lots of great information that I appreciate, and I know our parents do as well. Parents, once you are done completing the exit survey, you are free to leave the Parent University. And one last time, I just want to thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you next month at the next Parent University.